Hi. I am going to be doing eyes. So hi. Today we are going to be doing demonstration on eyeshadow for eyes. This one I'm going to be using dry shadow. I will be doing another tutorial a different day with our splurge cream shadows. But I wanted to show you how versatile palette 1 is. We've got 5 different palettes to choose from. We've also got the pressed powders that you can make into quad palettes if you so choose. So you can pick your color. You can do single compacts or you can get them in sets of 4. As you can see, these are some beautiful colors. I had an overnight meeting, so I just took out the colors that I wanted for that next day, and I had everything that I needed to apply my foundation, or excuse me, my eyeshadow. But what I'm going to be demonstrating today is this is palette 1, and I have to tell you, I have had palette 1 for sure a year and a half, maybe probably a year and a half for sure. And as you can see, these are highly pigmented, and when I first got this, I used this every day, and it's amazing how long these shadows last. So if you ever have any questions about you know, I know Younique is not the cheapest makeup, but I tell you what, it's going to last you forever, and you're not going to need to repurchase it very often. And I do not need to reapply my eyeshadow. I can put my makeup on at 6 o'clock in the morning, and by 8 o'clock at night, it looks just as good as it did at 6 o'clock in the morning. And it's so hard to wash my face at night because I'm so happy with how it stayed. Now, sometimes on my face will get a little oily from the day, but I just come back through just with a quick light dusting of powder, freshen up my blush, and my face is as good as new. So it's just amazing, but I will get started. So what I'm going to be doing today, what I'm going to start with is what you want to do, I should say, before I started, I applied eye primer. Younique has its eye primer. This is specifically for the eyes. I put that on my eyes. That's going to help your color pop. If you don't use an eye primer, you really can tell the difference of how much more vivid that your colors look. So if you see some of those women and men with pictures and their eyeshadow is just really bright, that's why, is because they're using a primer, and that does help. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to be putting on my base color. Now your base color you may not see in the end result, but it's just going to help give some dimension to your crease that you're using or the other colors that you're going to be using. So I'm trying to decide how I want to apply my makeup today. I think I'm going to apply it showing some of my crease. I've got some hooded eyes in my eye with my, see that? Sorry. With my maturing skin, my skin is not as youthful as it used to be, so I have to try and help blend all that in. So what I'm going to do is I'm coming in with the color Chipper. That's this lighter brown here, and I'm just going to put it on kind of a fat brush, and I'm just going to go all over my lid. I'm going to go lid and just a little bit up above my crease, because this is, like I said, my base color. This is what everything is going to build off of the top of. And what you want to do, so you just want to get that, you don't have to be perfect, because I'm going to show you another trick that Younique has. This is not a Younique brush that I'm using, but I'm going to show you a trick, the Younique's blending brush that we have, that's going to help you perfect your eyeshadow more than you ever realized. So I always do both eyes at the same time, so I don't forget what I did to each eye, because I have a short-term memory. And if I did one eye, I would forget what I did on the other eye. So that just kind of gives me my base color here. And forgive me, I'm looking into my phone doing this, so I may have to look into my mirror every once in a while. But Younique has this blending brush, and this blending brush is going to take away any harsh lines. So between every step, I come back through with my blending brush. And this is just going to give it that diffused look, so you don't have harsh lines going up into your eyebrow. So I'm just carrying that color just a little bit. I don't want to go all the way up to my eyebrow, because I do have a wider space here. That would be way too much color going up there. But I just want to carry that lighter color up there just to help open up my eyes. So now the next step, I could stop right here. I mean, look at that color is just nice. You don't have to go any further. It's just a really nice base color on its own. But what I'm going to focus on next is my crease, because what I want to do is I want to open up my eyes. I want them to look more open. So what I'm going to do is I've got a crease brush. Younique does have a crease brush. This is just one that I had gotten online. And sorry, there's a hair coming to my eye. But what I'm going to do, this brush isn't used. but I'm going to come in here in my crease with this brush, and I'm going to go a little bit above what my crease is because that's going to help draw my eye upwards. So I'm going to focus on putting more makeup up here versus down here, because if I keep that dark color down here, it's just going to make my eyes look more closed. So I'm going to have an imaginary line here that I do not want to cross with my crease color or the darker color. Now, if for some reason you cross that line, because I cross it all the time, yeah, I'm a rule breaker with my eyeshadow, then you can come back through when you're all done and you just take a little bit of concealer and just dab over it and just blend it in, and it's going to hide any mistakes that you make. Now, I've seen tutorials where they've used tape and then they have that harsh line. I don't really like harsh lines. I like to have it all kind of soft and blended in. So that's kind of my trick. So next time I'm going to come through with Forthright. That's the second color to the end. It's a matte color. And I'm going to just apply this into my crease. So I start out really slow and I'm just dabbing it in. If you find that you've got, if you've got more folds in your skin as your eyes age, that dabbing in is going to get through all those wrinkles. And I'm going to use my mirror here as well when I'm doing this so I can see. So I am just dabbing it in, and I'm only going to come to about here because I'm going to put in a lighter color over here. So after I get that in, if you hold your brush, if you want to get precise coloring on your eye, you want to hold your brush closer to the end like a pen. And that's going to help you get more precise where you want to apply that eyeshadow. When I use my blending brush and I want to get more of a diffused look, then I hold my brush at the end because that's going to give you more of a loose touch. If you want a tighter touch here, then you're just going to come up close. So what I'm going to do is I'm barely using any eyeshadow. So I'm just going to pull it a little bit up here where the arch of my eyebrow is, just to kind of pull that away. So just to kind of help open up my eyes. So then I'm going to come down here. I'm going to come into my V, what they call the V down here, to help fill in this area. And remember that imaginary line here. I'm trying not to cross it. But of course, you know, there's times that you're going to. Just take your finger, just wipe it off. So this does not look blended in, does it? Then what we're going to do, after we've got that eye done looking the way we want, then I come back through. I'm going to wipe off actually I'm going to go to my other eye. Like I said before, I have to do both eyes at the same time. So I'm just patting. When I first start out, I'm just patting it in there and making sure I get it in that crease where my eye is, and then I'm coming above it, because that's going to help open up my eye. If you have wider eyes that you don't need to worry about that, then you don't need to go above that under your brow bone. You can just keep it in your crease here and just stop right there. So then I'm going to come through and fill in that V. And for whatever reason, I tell you what, whenever I do the first eye to the second eye, I had a phone call come in while I was in the middle of videotaping, so there might be a break in the video here, so I'm very sorry. But as I was saying, as you can see how this side of my eye and this side, how I carried that up to make that eye open, how I haven't done that on this side. I've just got it in my crease. What a difference that makes between my eyes. If I sit back here, see how much more open that side is? So now I need to do the same thing over here. And it's just trial and error. And some days I get so wacky and it looks so dark and I'm like, what am I doing to my face? Then I have to try and figure out how to fix it. So just hold your brush really closely here and just, you don't have to focus. We're going to blend it out, so you don't have to go too crazy. As you can see, I mean, really, if you're putting eyeshadow on, you're like, oh my gosh, what did I just do? This all can be blended out, so don't worry about that. So I got that where I want it to be at this point. What I'm using to change the color out of my brushes is this is like a hard sponge in here. It's just in a little tin. It's called Quick Change Color. I ordered it on Amazon. You just put your brush in there and it takes the color off. So if you're using the same brush, then you can just quick rub it off as you're doing your makeup in the morning. So next I've got my blending brush, and I'm just gonna start out in really low, slow, my fingers way at the end of the brush, right along the edges, just to soften that up. And what you need to be careful here is that you're not bringing that color out here when you're blending it. So you just come through and you are just going to, if you want to get a little bit closer, you need to get here on your eyelid. You can, otherwise then you're just diffusing it. You want that color to be soft. You don't want that harsh, dark color. Now, if you're going for a nighttime look, of course, you know, you can keep applying to make it as dark or as light as you want. So if you've got you can take a lighter eyeshadow and you can make it pretty dark if you want. So I'm just carrying that down through my crease, doing a windshield wiper motion, just blending that out. You can see the difference in my two eyes. Of course, I wouldn't leave it like that, but as you can see, you just blend that in and it's just going to give you that nice look. I got to look at the mirror here to make sure that eye is good. So nice and blended. So now I'm going to do the same thing with this eye. Windshield wiper motions, just a really soft touch around those edges just to get those lines smoothed out, staying away from that imaginary line that we have. Carrying that shadow over onto our eyelid. That's why you don't want to go too crazy when you're putting in that dark crease color, doing that, because you're going to carry that color over. And if you want to clean off your blending brush in between, that's going to help just with a nice clean brush, just to help keep that blended. You can do circular motions. Again, this is a really light touch. The harder you press, it's going to be harder to blend it out. So you just want this nice light touch when you're doing this. And again, you can still see that base color that's underneath there, but it just helps get all these colors, help blends them, gives this color something to blend to. So again, I'm really talking funny right now. Sometimes it's really hard to get that blended, so you just keep going back over it. It just takes time, patience. Like I said, so when I first put that base color on, if you want to leave it there, and you've got a nice look for the day. If you're going for a little bit more put together look, it takes a little bit of time, but once you master it, it's really fairly easy. The key is blend, blend, blend. You don't want any harsh lines, you just want some nice soft colors here. So sorry, I'm trying to get in my light. Okay, so that is step number 2. Number 3, I want to open up my eyes, I want to add a lighter color right here, so to the first half of my eye. So the next step that I'm going to be doing is I am taking Younique's, this is our deluxe brush, and I'm going to be using the color Swanky. That is the shimmery color right here, and Swanky is just a really fun color, and there's a lot of punch to it when you apply it, so you don't need a whole lot on your brush. So I'm applying it to the corners of my eye, and again, I'm going to come back through and blend it out, so you don't need to go very far. And that's going to be added to the corners of my eye. Just on my eyelid, I'm not going up very high. So after I've applied it to the corners of my eye, then I'm going to come through again, guess what, with my blending brush and very lightly carry that. Now I don't want to go too far, but I want that blended in, so I've got a nice soft transition over to that darker crease color. And you know what, you're going to get some sparkles because this has sparkles. You're going to get some of that through to your lid, but that's okay. See that, how that turned out? Just kind of brightens it up and kind of makes your eye look fuller. Now I need to focus on eyelining and lining my eyes. But first, before I do that, to help keep all of your colors nice transition between your eyes, what you want to do is take that crease color that you used, and I was using Forthright, that's that second color. What I want to do is with my deluxe brush, I'm just going to tap the end on my foundation, on my shadow, and I'm just going underneath my eye, and that's going to help line underneath my eye. And I'm only going to go about halfway, not all the way, because again, I need my eyes to look more open and wide because they're so tight. If you have bigger eyes, you can go all the way across the bottom of your lash line. But right now, I'm just focusing about up to my pupil, and then I go back. And that's going to connect up there. I'm going to bring it up just a little bit to where my crease color was. And this is just going to help blend all of your colors together. It kind of gives you that shadow effect underneath your eye, and it just gives it extra dimension than just if you're using liner. Sometimes that liner can be, depending upon, it can be just one thin line and it looks like just one thin line under your eye. And This just gives it that little bit of dimension, and it helps keep all your colors consistent throughout your eyes. So what I do is, if it gets a little bit of harsh there, I just take my finger and blend it out. I wipe all my powder off and just kind of make that nice underneath eye color. So it kind of gives you that really light smoky look without having to smoke it out with dark makeup, which I'm not perfected yet, that dark smoky eye. So then what I need to do, and again, this is because I'm trying to open up my eye, and this is a technique that I'm still trying to perfect and I am not very good at, but you're going to tight line your top lid. And what that means is on your waterline, on your top eyelash, you want to come in and pull it up, and you want to line this area of your eye. What this is going to do is that's going to fill in your lashes. It's going to give it that line, but if you line the top of your lashes, that's going to close off your eye. So if you tight line, that's going to give it a little bit of lining in there. You can skip this step if you want. My eyes water every time I do this, and I question myself why I'm doing this, but I tell you what, once you add your mascara, it just adds a little bit more dimension to your eye. So now I'm using, this is Younique's eyeliner pencil. Now I'm going to come underneath, just as your regular eyeliner you would, and just underneath my lashes, not on my waterline, underneath my lashes. I'm just lining them out. So I'm really one that wants to line my top lashes, my top lids, but I can't do that because it closes my eyes. If you've got wider set eyes, go ahead. You can just line right above your lashes and there's nothing wrong with it. If you want to do a winged eyeliner, go ahead, right on top. Just make that wing. I've not perfected my wings yet, so I cannot show you how to do that. Someday, it's on my to-do list. Okay, now before I'm done, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the white eyeliner pencil from Younique, and I am going to actually go on my waterline because this is going to help brighten up my eyes to make them look wider. It's very subtle, and you don't want a huge white line anyways. I keep poking myself in my eye because I'm not looking in a mirror, so I need to get my little handheld mirror. So you're just going to line your waterline here. And that just adds a little bit of, it just brightens up that area. I also come through and I take this white and I put it here in the corners of my eyes, and that's going to brighten up that area. And that's also going to help make your eyes look wider. I'm just going to blend that in with my finger. Then I'm going to come in. Sorry, I keep saying then. I'm just going to use the sponge side of my Younique angled shadow brush. And I am going to use the color Brassy. It looks a little yellow, but once you put it on, it's not that bad. And I'm going to just put it in the corners here. And that too, over that white. And that's just going to brighten it up and just give you that little bit of extra sparkle in the corners of your eye. And you can bring it over here if you want. Then I'm going to take that same color Brassy and I'm going to go just underneath my eyebrow, just to give it a little bit of shine up there. Then when I'm all done with that, you guessed it, I'm coming back one more time with my blending brush. Blend that all in. Make sure there's no harsh lines. And voila! The last thing I have to do is add mascara, but that's going to be in a different tutorial. So you're going to see the same look, but you're going to see my epic mascara put on. So as you can see, that is my completed look. I just need to add a little bit more eyeliner here. That is eyeshadow using palette number 1 from Younique. And there's a few different techniques that we can use, but this is just one of them. Thanks for watching.